Hello, everyone. Welcome back to How to Trade. I'm Shane Vernier, and this is our Q&A session. We've got a little bit going on today with regards to Q&A. I've got a few questions that I'm going to address. I've got a lot of questions about UFOs and UAPs. It seems like that's all anybody's talking about right now. We're going to talk about exactly how that can impact your markets. We're also going to break down some price action. I've got a few hot markets that we need to look at. We need to look at gold. We had a key level come into play in gold. We're also going to recap the trades from earlier today. If you caught the 10-minute scalping blitz, we had some trades out there. Definitely a teachable moment in the E-mini S&P 500. When your stop loss gets hit, get out. Get out. And always remember, the smaller your time frame, the more risky the trading is going to be. So let's go ahead and get out to price action here. We're going to start with this question I get every single day on gold, so I'm just going to nip this one in the bud. If you have any questions at all you'd like to ask me, type them in the live chat in the trading room or the live chat on YouTube or any of our other outlets. Feel free. It all comes to the same place. So if you want to talk, I'm here to talk. Mudabi, good to see you, Mudabi. All right, guys. And another thing, excuse my pronunciations. I'm tough. I speak English and I barely speak that, so just please bear with me with the pronunciations of your name. I mean, no offense, believe me. But in any case, right here, gold. Let's take a look at gold. I had this outlined yesterday. We had a real interesting daily level down there at about 26.56. Right now, gold's taking it on the chin, off about another percent. Really, no reason for it. Really no reason for the sell-off in gold. If you remember, we had this sort of order block outlined right up there at about 27 and a quarter. We had that outlined yesterday. We went to 27.26, and we're off about $70-something from there. So let me see. Yeah, let's see. Great Britain pound. Absolutely. Which pair would you like? I'll do the Great Britain pound next. But right here, gold coming off in a big way, 26.56. That's a fascinating level. It's been very good to us scalping-wise thus far. If you go down to your 30-minute chart, you'll see exactly what happened. Bang. Nice test of that zone. We only went down to about 55, and then we bounced up in 90 minutes. We went right up to 64. That's a fantastic scalp. That's exactly what I want to get done at these key levels. That's exactly what I want to get done there. So I'm definitely looking to get involved with a little bit of meaning in the gold market. This is an interesting zone, though. We remember the hammer formation that we had the other day. I was saying, hey, watch the hammer, watch the hammer. Well, there was your hammer. Hammer came across the board right there. Bang. That was our buy signal. You got a little bit of a follow through there, but it wasn't anywhere near pretty much what we were shooting for. But your stop loss would have been right there. But still, if you're scalping and you're buying that hammer, that 4-hour hammer, that's nice confirmation. You got to bump all the way up to 26.92. Where would you have bought that? 26.84? That would have been an $8 move. That ain't exactly chicken feed. That's exactly what I'm looking for out of our key levels. And then right here, what are we doing? We're setting up shop down here at our 62% level. If this level holds, look for this market to really rally. I really don't have any problem at all taking a long position from here. It's just the real challenge when you make orders like this or you make trades like this is where do you cut it off at? Where would your stop loss be? I like going home long over the weekend gold. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't advise taking home any positions over the weekend because of the risk, the systemic risk. But if you do get an opportunity potentially to buy something like a gold, this could be a very good trade. So I'm watching this closely. The only problem with just taking one at market right now is we're not institutional traders. We don't have the big money. And if we don't have the big money, we can't just hold these things. I mean, look, as soon as we bought that thing, gold starts coming off again. Remember, if these levels don't work, if these support levels don't function, then you're going to see a sell-off down here, and we'll run to 26.37. That would be our next long entry. For me right now, though, like I said, always buying at markets, risky. But I think that this is going to be a pretty decent level that's going to hold up. But if it doesn't, then you got to get out of the way. Where would my stop loss be on this trade? It's really hard. That's why you don't take trades like this. You got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. So if you were going to take this, I'd probably stop myself out at like 26.48. That's a $7 risk, so you got to make sure that your risk or your leverage is very small here to service that 3% max per trade. A lot going on here today. Let me see. Emmanuel, I hope you're not late. You're not late. We're just getting started here. We're going to take all the questions. Let's see. JC wants to look at the dollar yen. I'm just going to get out my hot list right here. We've got the dollar yen we're looking at here. We had a request for the Great Britain pound, so I'll do the Great Britain pound USD first. The dollar yen next. I got a couple private messages. I'm going to go ahead and open those up here real fast. Not everybody has access to the live chat here in the room. So if you don't, I'm going to go ahead and do my best to sort of take a look at your private messages here. Let me see what I got. Of course, we froze up. That's about right. That's par for the course. Just 1 second here, and I'll see if I can get in there and have a look. Let's see. Let me see. USD is the way to go. Okay, let's see. I have a question here. The Great Britain pound is buying the USD. Is that the way to go for 2025? My thoughts. Well, I'll start with that one, and then we'll get to some of the price action. Then we'll talk UFOs here in a second as well. Yeah, I think that the USD is going to be the play for 2025. I haven't exactly nailed down when we're going to enter and when we're going to buy this thing, but I do think that we're going to wait for a nice big pullback. We'll probably get that by the end of the year, something like that. And definitely going to be looking to probably go long, because I personally don't believe that the Fed is going to raise or cut interest rates next year. I think the tariffs are going to throw them a real curveball, and that's going to be a real challenge as we dive deeper into 2025. So that's definitely big. I hope that answers your question, Dan. I'm looking towards the U.S. dollar, but I don't want it from 107. That DXY has got to come down, and we'll get a shot. We'll get a shot down there at 102, 103. And when that happens, probably Q1 sometime, then we'll have a chance maybe to play the USD to the long side. Everybody else is cutting, and I don't think the Fed's going to be able to cut. They're going to cut this week, but after that, I think it's going to be a moratorium on rate cuts until at least March, maybe later. So I want to talk about that. But in any case, I'm watching this gold closely. Heat is on that level. If that does break away, if you do go down and take out that 50 zone, we're going to 37. That's going to happen fast. Now, if you want a good solid trade location for next week, what can we really do here? It's tough on the weekly chart. It really is. There's your big rally, and then we sort of crept down, and now we're going right back down to that moving average, that 13-period EMA, 26.34. I think 26.37 to 34. That daily Fibonacci retracement sequence we just looked at, coupled with a 13-period EMA on my weekly, that's going to be your buy. So my buy location going to be right down in there. And we already bought on the short time frames. We'll see how it pans out. Remember, these are demo dollars. I have no capital at stake. There's going to come a time when we're trading real money, and we're going to have to get to it. Let me see. Emmanuel, I'm on the CAD yen, but it forms a double bottom on the 4-hour time frames. Let me see, Daniel, aliens and USO. They've been here a long time, but they thought the X is hitting the fan on Earth, and they better sort us out. Well, let's talk UFOs. That's the title of the stream. This is one of the biggest stories I've seen in a long time, and I know a lot of you are laughing. You're going, Shane, come on, man. We're gonna analyze this and what it could mean to the markets. This is fascinating stuff. Look at all these news stories. I Googled UAP. Look at all this stuff. 17 hours ago, 20 hours ago, a day ago, 21 hours ago. These things are popping up everywhere. They're popping up everywhere, and here's the deal. They're coming in from all angles. The reports are coming in from all angles. So in the last 24 hours, we've seen sightings in the New York City area. If any of you were there, maybe you saw them. The New Jersey area, there was a definite some activity there in New Jersey. And also last night in San Diego, I watched the live report. It wasn't live, but it was like a 50 or 30 or 40 minutes old. And there were sightings in San Diego. So that's two coasts. That's coast to coast. And the real question is, what the hell are these things? Now, there's always been reports of UFOs, always. So the dawn of time, dawn of human history, you go back to the pyramids and you look at the hieroglyphics, and they show pictures of things coming out of the sky. I'm not really here to debate whether or not UFOs exist. I'm not what are these things? What are they, man-made? Are they aliens? What are they? I would say that there's two things that sort of have my BS monitors up. Number one, we're going into a serious transition of power here in the United States. All right, that's the first thing. We see everything breaking loose right now. We see Russia, Ukraine, escalations. We see threatened cyber attacks. I'm getting things all the time about watch your cybersecurity, get ready for your power grid to go down, all these different things. It's all designed really to scare people. This right here, the timing isn't coincidental. This flared up. Why? Right at the end of a political cycle? That's curious. So these things are everywhere, though. Now, if I see them here in Dillon, Montana, I'll be sure to let you know. But I mean, this is absolutely unbelievable stuff. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is this: Pentagon response to unidentified drones flying over New Jersey. There was reports there was a mothership out in the ocean that was launching these things. The idea that it was an aircraft carrier or something like that. So there's two questions that I have. Number one, if these are man-made, are these from a foreign entity? And is this a military activity or a surveillance program on the United States? If it is, you're in U.S. airspace, you're near military installations, that's an act of war. That's the first thing that can drive the markets. The second thing that could drive the markets is what? Potentially, if it is, in fact, aliens. If it's in aliens, our safe havens go through the roof. So I'm watching this closely, but there's one thing that really has my eyes on this, And that's this quote right here from Press Secretary Sabrina. I watched this yesterday. At this time, we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary. So the Pentagon is actually suggesting that these things are, in fact, coming from aliens. They're suggesting that they don't know where they are, and they're not ours, and they're not anybody else's. We don't know what they are. That's you could say that's fear-mongering. The last thing I'm going to say about it is this. We don't understand why these things haven't been tailed and taken on by U.S. Military. Why haven't they been shot down? You're near military bases. Anybody else flies a military or a drone or anything there, you at least have an F-15 scramble and those planes are in the air. You're at least looking to shoot them down. I think that somebody knows damn good and well what's happening here. It may be a group of folks that have sophisticated drones, something like that can scare people. It may be a foreign government. It may be the United States government doing it. I don't know, but I do know this. If, in fact, these things turn out to either be an act of war from a foreign adversary, or if they do, in fact, turn out to be aliens, you're going to see safe havens absolutely explode in the short term. If it's a foreign adversary, you're going to be looking at safe havens rallying in a big way. Gold will go to $3,000 overnight. WTI crude oil will also spike. That'll suggest that it is a world war if this is a military action. If it's not a military action, if, in fact, one of these things lands and some little green men get out and everybody goes, holy crap, what is that? That's going to scare the bejesus out of everybody. And at least in the short term, finances will be on lockdown. Investment into the NASDAQ will become very, very interesting because the idea will be some of these companies could actually make a contact and be able to use some of the heightened technology, or they may become obsolete overnight. I can tell you that if that is to happen, there's no predicting what can happen in the financial markets. Absolutely nothing. Shane, do you believe in aliens? I got that question. I go, if you look at just the numbers, the statistics and the numbers of what's going on with our universe and the number of suns and planets and all those different things, of course there's other life out there. Now, whether it's sentient life or advanced life, I just don't know. Nobody knows that. But there's other life out there, and we're not alone. There's no question about that. The real question is would they fly drones with what looks like man-made lights on them if they could traverse the cosmos to come visit us? No, I don't think we would even see them unless they wanted to be seen. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe it isn't. As far as do I believe that these things are aliens and this is the end? No, they're not aliens. It's man-made. I just don't know who made it. No one does yet. It will come out though. Yet it will come out. All right, guys, let's see right here. So gold, I look for gold to explode. Silver, something like a silver market would absolutely explode. This is interesting right here. We're looking at it just in case we get a washout. Our 62% level on this silver market has been absolutely fantastic. We had a scalp earlier this week that it wasn't good. It really wasn't good. We put the trade idea out, and I was like, it didn't work. We'll lean into it next week, but I really think there's still some opportunities in silver. Remember, this type of trade, this Fibonacci retracements, I got a lot of confidence in this stuff. 28.30, somewhere down in there, that would be your bid. But also, this 62% level at 29.72, this monthly 62% has been absolutely huge. That's another bid for me. That would be a bid. If, in fact, we trade beneath November's lows, you're going to see that run down to 78%, and it's going to happen fast. So be ready. Be ready. You want to be a seller underneath 62%, underneath 29.70, 72. As soon as we break beneath last month's low, you want to be a seller down there, and you don't want to buy until 28.30. All right, I got a laundry list of questions here. I'm behind on the live chat. Let me see. ZBT, 0 point energy. Yeah, well, and that's the other thing, Daniel. Elon Musk, our number one tech guy in the world, hasn't said anything about these UFOs. So is it Musk? We don't know. We don't know. We know that, Space Force or Tesla or whatever it is, they have the ability to catch rockets now. Nobody thought that was ever possible. Do they have some nifty little vehicle nobody knows about? Could be. I don't know. But that's absolutely fantastic stuff. And that you're right about the 0 point energy. That seems to be the calling card of these things. They stop on a dime and then they're gone. And then they're back and they stop and then they're gone. So we have real questions about what these things are. I don't know. I'm not going to panic about it. I'm probably going to have a great trading day, another great trading week next week, and then go and enjoy Christmas and have vacation and New Year's. But I think it's fascinating. And don't kid yourself. It could definitely drive the market directional. Let me see. The U.S. has been in contact with them since Area 51. They know, but they won't tell you now, so they can't cover it up anymore. It could be. It could be. It could be. I have an open mind to all that stuff. I really do. One of the things as traders, we learn to be flexible with our thinking, and that's because we're right a lot, but we're also wrong a lot. And the ability to understand that, yeah, there are two sides to every coin, and I could be off base, and I might actually be wrong on something. So I'm not saying for sure that these things are aliens. Aliens are out there somewhere. They certainly are in the universe somewhere. They may be just like us. We don't know. And then we get into interdimensional travel and all that stuff, and that's fascinating. In any case, if you need to trade, you want to trade the alien trades, what I call it. If you want to make the play on the on the aliens, then you could definitely be looking to get long safe havens if in fact the stuff hits the fan and we see confirmation. Right here, this is what happened. Week 50. Really no donation Friday. There's nothing going on today. That's why we scheduled a Q&A session. And then also we had a trade update here. This was our U.S. oil update. I talked about it yesterday. We just flat missed it. Oil's up again big today, 1.75%, and that is because of the angst in the Middle East. That's because of the angst in the Middle East. So you definitely want to be ready for that oil market to come back down to earth. We may take a look at that towards the end of the stream as well. All right, hey Moses, good to see you, Moses. How you doing? All right, guys, we're gonna dive right into right into our some of the questions you guys have given me on markets. I got one more question, a general question from Bobby Bob, so I want to answer that right now. Coach, would you advise we keep trading this month? Yeah. What I would do, and this is very, very serious because holiday trading takes a lot of money from people. And if you're trading size and if you're in there making moves and you're like, geez, what are we going to do here? What am I going to do? What it does is it adds a degree of pressure around the holidays, especially if you celebrate things like Christmas and New Year's. And those are times that if you have families, you want to spend those with loved ones, and you want to be in a stress-free environment. I am a big fan of shutting it down. Matter of fact, I'm going to be out of the office for the really beginning on the 20th of December. So my personal plan is we're going to trade. We're going to trade next week, and we're going to be aggressive doing it because that's going to be your last real trading week of the year. You're going to have the United States Federal Reserve FOMC Live Wednesday. You're going to want to trade the lead up, and then we're going to want to trade the fall out there on Thursday. Now, next Friday, I think that if a person wanted to take a break until maybe the first full week of January, I think that's going to be probably the best way to do this. I expect, I don't know, I don't have a crystal ball, but I expect volatility to really dry up when it comes to next Friday. I think things are going to dry up. I think participation is going to dry up. And the following week, the 23rd, the 24th, the markets will be open. I just don't necessarily believe we're going to get any price action there. Now, I could be wrong. I remember Christmas Eve 2018, the Christmas Eve bloodbath, the plunge, where we saw a massive sell-off, and that was during Trump's first administration. We saw a massive sell-off on Christmas Eve. So I'm fully aware that the market can move. I'm just not sure that it's a good idea for us to be in there, especially if you're celebrating the holidays and you need some downtime anyways. Take it. Now is the time to take it. Now, coming back after January 1st, you got to remember January 1st, I believe, is a Wednesday as well. So the 2nd's a Thursday, the 3rd's a Friday. I might have to double check and see if we have NFP for that Friday. But I do believe that you probably, if we don't have NFP that first January 3rd, you're going to want to wait until the next week. The first full trading week. That's exactly what I have planned. I am in no hurry to run into the fire. I don't want to take risk now during the holidays. So Bobby Bob, to answer your question, I would trade the next week and then I would shut it down. I really would. I think that's pretty good advice. That's something that most professional traders do. They shut it down. They just flat shut it down. And a lot of the reasons why is because the markets get thin. Okay, dollar yen. I'm going to start with the dollar yen, and then I'm going to circle back around. We got a question on the CAD yen, and then the Great Britain pound, Mutebi Shafik. I haven't forgot about you. We're going to do the pound as well. We're going to go and start with the yen, though. Okay, dollar yen, absolutely huge market. Clearly, we love trading the yen. The yen's fantastic. Here's your monthly chart. Your macro wave goes right from this high, this all-time high up, not all-time high, but the yearly high up there at 162, right around 162 down here to this spike low. And then we sort of had that run. We made a nice run up there at 78%, 157. We sold off there, and now we're sort of back on the move north. I wouldn't really step up and look to sell this 62%. This area has been absolutely saturated. I believe that you're going to have a real problem. Your real problem here trying to trade this because it's been traded so often. Now you can see the first pullback right there, money in the bank, beautiful. The second one, not as good. The third one's not going to be as good. But what I would be looking at, if I'm trading the Japanese yen right now, 157.19. That's a pretty darn good sell up there at 157. Now it's still a ways off. Let's dial this thing down and see if we can't get a decent trade right now. I'm bullish. I've been bullish against the yen for a long time. Do we have a legitimate trade right here? Now listen, you could buy pullbacks right there. You could bid that pullback down at 153.40 if you want it. The real question is what should I do? Well, is it a great trade? Not really. It's a trade if you want to buy from right there. What once was resistance is now support. If you want to bid it, bid it. I would be looking for a bit of a taller order, though. I'd love to see this maybe rally another 70 pips, and then we get that pullback down in there with some 4-hour convergence. But listen, it's clear as day to me that the 4-hour chart is definitely bullish. Right here, we broke above 62%, and now we're moving higher. I got a bullish bias here. I would look to be long the dollar yen. I really would. I hope that helps. I hope that helps, JC. That's pretty much what I'm looking at with my own personal indicators. Remember, there's all different kinds of indicators. We've been showing a lot of strategies. 9 EMA RSI. We've been showing the 920, the new video out. A lot of you guys have already watched it and liked it. The 920 crossover. That's another way to trade. We've got pendulums. We've got piranhas. We've got all these different ways to trade. This is the way I trade. I trade Fibonacci's and fractal geometry, and I use a Bollinger Band in a 13-period EMA overlay. That's what I do, and I've been doing it for so long that it's second nature to me. So I realize that a lot of this confuses new traders, but that's okay. That's why we put out all those different strategies, so you guys have something to look at. Let me see, Hein. Yeah, it's the S&P 500, absolutely. All right, my next one, I did want to get in with that Great Britain Pound USD because that was the first question. You can see right here, we took a long, I believe, on a 5-minute. Yeah, right here was this 5-minute chart right here. And the basic idea was this. We did a lot of this scalping earlier today, but we were in oversold territory here beneath our 30 on our RSI. That meant what? We were looking for a buy. There was our buy signal right there. So something like this was your bid. This 5-minute chart, this is high-risk stuff, no doubt about it. Where's your stop loss? Right beneath that 5-minute double bottom. Where does your profit target need to be? More than likely, it needs to be up in here somewhere. Needs to be up towards the top of 5-minute market structure. So essentially what we're trying to do is trying to pick a bottom using a moving average and RSI. That's tough business. Do I want to be long or short right now? For me, the Great Britain Pound clearly is trending off. You can see right here. What do you got? Spike high, spike low. We didn't even come close to pulling back to 38% right this minute. I mean, you can still do something like this if you wanted to. Sell it. That's a pretty darn good level right there, 26.75. If we got that, you could definitely sell that because you got your 4-hour moving average coming down on top of that as well. Let's go ahead and go to a daily. Something like that you could do. Personally, I would stick on the most recent spike to spike, and that's going to give you really the same sequence as we just had. So if you did get a bounce back up there to 75, maybe early next week, you could sell that all day long and be just fine with it. Definitely got sort of a bearish bias, though. What do we want to do from a macro perspective? Do we have anywhere to buy? Do I want to buy this thing? I'm not really too excited about it. Markets do have memories, though, and here's one area that you could take a look at, 123 even. That is what? That's your yearly low. Always be aware of these numbers. We did a key levels video a while back. That was a pretty good one. Nobody watched it. It's pretty good, though. And it shows you how to do things like this right there. That's this year's low. I would have that in my head as a macro zone. If you do get a chance, a pullback from like 123.09, maybe 123.25. I know it's 300 pips down the way. Believe me, I fully understand that. But still, that could be a real good trade for you maybe through next week. Remember, we got the Fed meeting. We could easily move 300 pips, easily. That's not a problem. So real tight range thus far this year in the Great Britain Pound. That's what I would be looking at as a bid. But for right this minute, I'd be looking to sell. And the other key level I would be looking at as well is going to be it's going to be last month's low. Bang, right there. That low, sell that. You could definitely be, you want to be short down in here, but right in here, you probably want to be long. So something to think about there if you're trading the Great Britain Pound. Let's see right now. S&P 500. We had another one on the CAD yen, though. I want to get as many of these as I possibly can. All right, CAD yen, interesting stuff. Still sort of bearish here on the monthly. You see nice big sell-off there, and we sort of stalled out. Really beautiful trade right up here. Your high was about 111.56. We were just sort of fell short of our 112 area. Would still love to sell 112s. So what's happening in this market? It's flat. Nice big move. That's trend trading. There's your hammer. There's your hammer. What do you think? Probably want to be on the long side of this, but I don't really want to be long from here. I would wait for that 38% to break, and more than likely, you're going to get an opportunity potentially to get long. But for me, this would definitely be I'd throw this one in the no trade bin just because it's really hard. If you got long from down here, maybe. I mean, this is a textbook. If you guys like trying to pick bottoms, double bottoms, what is this? There's your first low, there's your pullback, there's your second low, and there's your long. That's a Bollinger W. So you can definitely start to believe that maybe the bottom's in here. I would be on the sidelines, guys, right now. As far as, is there a scalping location where maybe I look to get short early next week? Weekly chart's a good one. Spike high there. Spike low. You're trading just on that other side of that 108 area. That's big. I'm probably bullish over 108. But right here, I mean, that's a pretty darn good sell, 109.35. That's not bad. So stay tuned with this CAD yen. It's not time to trade it yet, but it could be. It could be coming very, very soon. Let me see. U.S. dollar, Swiss franc, absolutely. We had somebody asking about the S&P 500. Let's go ahead. I put a trade idea out on the S&P 500 earlier today, and we'll sort of review what happened. Teachable moment in our earlier scalping stream. S&P 500 for me is relatively simple. It's still bullish. I don't expect that to last. I think 2025 is going to be much different, not because of the incoming administration. I think interest rates, higher interest rates, and then we're going to have tariffs and a trade war. They're going to be a drag on a lot of large cap stocks. I could see them at least pulling back through Q2. Now, I don't necessarily, after Q2, I really think that the new policies of the administration, once the trade war stuff gets evened out and the Fed actually can start dropping rates, I really see a huge upside over the next 4 years for U.S. stocks. I don't see any way around that. But for the intermediate term, like the next 6 months, I think there's going to be some trials and tribulations. I could see this getting pretty ugly realistically during this transition. It's nobody's fault, really. It's just the way that things panned out. And for us as traders, we just got to understand how to make money. Love the pullback right here in the S&P 500, 59. I put a trade idea out earlier today just on the S&P 500. Check out our analytics thread. I break down the actual trade. But take a look at this weekly. This is the first week in 4 where we're going to have a negative type of a situation. Let's look at the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart really was textbook trend day, even though we haven't gone anywhere. You say, Shane, how you figure that's a trend day? Well, take a look at what happened realistically during that overnight session. Somewhere right in there, we had our open, and then we saw this tremendous rally during that London session, and then we came off really right through the Tokyo and the London Open. Then there's your plunge. Okay, when did your plunge occur? Opening bell, ding, ding, 7:30 a.m. 30-minute chart. Look at that. That's clockwork. Ladies and gentlemen, that is clockwork. That is what I'm talking about. High right there. Opening bell, ding, ding. Opening bell, 30 minutes. Swing low down there. About the mid-session. Pull back. What did you get? Ooh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful stuff right there. Now, unfortunately, we were scalping earlier. We were on the other side of this thing. We were looking at a different strategy. We were looking at a 1-minute chart, E-mini S&P 500 with RSI. Personally, I don't know that there's any riskier thing to do with your life ever, in your money ever. But a lot of folks want to see this stuff perform on a 1-minute chart, and we've only got 10 minutes to make trades. So right there, oversold territory. What are you looking to do? You're looking to buy. Look at right here, though. Oversold territory on the RSI, and that was our live bid. We took that bid right there. Where did we bid it? We bid it right on my retracement level. We should have been sellers. That would have been obvious with the Fibonacci's. But our trade, one good thing about our trade is, listen, we had a stop out point. And I've said it over and over and over again, rip the Band-Aid off and take the loss, because if you kept riding this thing thinking we were going to rally back up into here somewhere, you may be right, but the road that you went on is absolutely brutal, absolutely brutal. So if in fact you were dialing it up maybe to a different type of a time frame, maybe a 30-minute chart where we can actually break down what's happening in the market in big 30-minute chunks, look at what you got. You still got a buying opportunity. Bang, there we're in oversold territory. Now we're looking to get really maybe our buyback. This may not be a bad trade going into the close today. You might get a 30-minute bid right above this 9 EMA. You have a chance maybe to make a run at the top side of market structure. Longer time frames are better. There's no question about it. No question about it. But a lot of folks love that. So that's a good look at your US 500. That was a great trade. But definitely, if you're going to be looking to trade this thing early next week, the trade idea I put out earlier, it's got some really good level right there, 38%. Still bullish, although the bull market may be winding down. That's for sure. Let me see right here. We've got USD CHF after the SNB and the Euro Swissy. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look at that. All right, we get the S&P 500. Let's see, what else were we looking at here? USD. And, did have a question. No, we covered Bitcoin yesterday. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the dollar Swissy. Dollar Swissy is one of my favorites. I don't really ever want to short this thing. Going into a weekend because the Swissy, go long during a weekend because the Swissy is a safe haven. Absolutely, Hein, you're welcome. Is a safe haven. So right here, if you take a look at your Swiss franc and what's happened to this thing, this dollar Swissy over the last, several months, what do you got? Nice big sell-off, and then you got about a 3-month winning streak. And the reason why is the dollar's sort of been on the march against the majors. But what did you have in Switzerland? You had an interest rate cut. We're going to go to a deposit rate there. Or a negative deposit rate. That's going to happen. The question is just how fast we get there. We had a surprise rate cut, but judging by the markets, it wasn't much of a surprise. They knew it was coming. Very surprising that anybody knows what the Swissy's doing. Something right here on this macro wave. You'll notice it's not our most current spike to spike, but this big macro wave, you'll notice you've got sort of a supply zone right there at 78%, which is right around 90.50. I would be a seller there. No question about it. I'd be a seller there. Now, as far as what would I like to do right this minute, well, it's the same situation as we just looked at with that yen trade. You saw us break above 62%, which is at $89. Let's take this thing to a 4-hour chart. What do we got? That tells me everything I need to know. I've got an area that was fantastic resistance. Look, you got paid off on a beautiful scalp right there. The real question is how do we get this done moving forward? I like it. I like it a lot. There was your resistance zone. It's now a support zone right around, 88.99, so right around 89, and then you've got 38% right there on your 4-hour chart. That's it. That's what I would be looking for on a short-term trade for the dollar Swissy. That's for sure. As far as the euro Swissy goes, okay, we'll do one more, and then that'll be a wrap for today. If you guys have any other questions, go ahead and let me know. Feel free to okay, this is textbook. This is textbook right here. You sort of had that that interesting dynamic where you had some big time chop. There was a lot of reasons for that back on Wednesday. What were they? CPI, US CPI shook everything up. Spike low, all-time high, not all-time high, but the current high, 93.44 is a great pullback buy. This right here is a textbook breakout trend. Boom, there's a 1, there's a 2, there's a 3. Now we're just sort of pulling back. That would be the area to bid this thing if, in fact, you're interested in the 4-hour chart. Let's try something a little bit different, though. Let's see about doing a daily overlay. Okay, I already love this. I'm really starting to love this. Beautiful swing low. Today's high is absolutely big time. We've had a nice bullish break. What do we got? Okay, 38% is right there at 93.37. That's 93.44. So that area right in there would be your long. That would be your support zone. If you have an opportunity to get that, it's pretty good. It's coming into play realistically 40 pips away. And then that's what I would be looking at really to try to grab some accumulation from that zone and just sort of grind higher. It might not be pretty, but it might work very well. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and run a quick refresh and see what we're looking at because these things are breaking all the time. Okay, let's go to news. Let's go to look at this. 1 day ago, New York Jones are creating a scary situation. Lawmaker calls limited state of emergency. A state of emergency? Come on. But that's what we're looking at, guys. This is the news cycle. We're talking aliens. We're talking Trump's man of the year or person of the year on Time Magazine. We're talking aliens. We're talking gold. We're looking at stocks. Who knows what's going to happen? All right, thank you for all your questions today. I sure appreciate the participation. We might run a few of these streams from time to time. If you want to ask me a private question, just go on over to howtotrade.com and send me one. Let me see. I got one more of these things. Yeah, Zandy. I just covered the dollar yen. So we definitely nailed that one live. I think it's going to be pretty good. All right, if you guys missed anything, be sure to go back, check out the streams from this week. Feel free. Also, we've got a new video out on the How to Trade YouTube channel. It's called the 920 EMA crossover strategy. Be sure to check that one out when you get a chance. I think it's a pretty good video, and it's interesting. It's interesting, that's for sure. It's interesting. I mean, look at this. Look at these reports. I've never seen a news cycle like this. Look at this. Newsweek. 2 pilots describe seeing UFOs zipping through the sky of Eugene, Oregon on Saturday night. According to an alleged recording, pilots told to maneuver around a UFO. That's absolutely crazy. We never saw this stuff reported in the news when I was a kid, ever. Never had it. Absolutely never had it. Watch the skies, everybody. Who knows who's looking back at us? All right. You guys have a fantastic weekend. Have a good break. I'll be back next week. Our stream schedule is already up, so be sure to come by the trading room. The big event next week's FOMC Live on Wednesday. We'll have that one locked up and ready to go for you. So if you have any questions at all, swing by and ask me. And then next Friday, I believe I'll be out of the office, and I'll be out of the office through January 2nd. So if you're not interested in really trading the rest of this year after Thursday, and I highly suggest maybe at least limiting your liquidity or limiting your leverage, because holiday trading has ruined a lot of traders. And there's a time to trade. You can make more money trading in 1 hour when you should be trading than you can in 72 hours when you shouldn't be trading. That's the name of the game. Understand the markets, know when to trade. If you have any questions at all, be sure to ask me. All right, everybody. That's a wrap. You have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you back here Monday. Trade the action well, and we'll talk soon. See ya.